Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to the final review for Halloween month. And of course, the final review is in Happy Halloween. This will be my second review for this year's Halloween. Because the previous one I was not a fan of, Halloween 2018. Was not a fan of it. But here to end on Halloween on a good note. Reviewed one that I did not like, but now review a film that I think is better than Halloween 2018. Because this film I thought had more visual style and atmosphere look, especially when you have the involvement of he's a producer in this film, but director Guillermo del Toro. Well, he didn't direct this film, but he produced it though. But when people say the visionary, let's say visionary director Guillermo del Toro though, but I also give credit to him, but I also give credit to the director as well and the other people who handle for the help in the style as well. So for this last Halloween review, I'll be reviewing of from last year, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Now, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark was a book series that I remember me and my brother remember reading, growing up, and they were good. They were good storybooks. Especially in the books, you have especially the art style of the creatures in the book, how the art style has been drawn, and really good looking creatures in the book, which they bring to life in this, and overall I did like the movie. Although originally this is well the if I remember the books were like an anthology, right? Trying to do like which they didn't do. They did not do in this movie though, sadly though, because hey, I like anthologies. First, you got to start with a case in point right here. I'm wearing the shirt right now. I love Trick or Treat. Great as one of my favorite horror anthology films, especially on a Halloween theme one. I love Trick or Treat. Great anthology film. The other ones I've enjoyed, like Stephen King's Cat's Eye, um, Tales from the Hood. That's another good anthology one. The Creepshow movies from Stephen King's Creepshow 1, 2. I like those ones. Um, I'm not big on the VHS movies. VHS, but well, those are different sets. But anthology, like it takes place on this in the same time though. Like how integrated with Cat's Eye. With the cat is like running all over the place, all connecting the stories together. Like especially with Trick or Treat, and all the other characters are interacting with each other. Which is supposed to be books were like an anthology though, but they decided not to go this route. And the director Guillermo del Toro, what he said at the 2019 Comic Con, he said that why it was not produced as an anthology film, he was saying that when we started talking, I quote, started talking 5 years ago. I had to think about it. Anthology films are always bad as the worst story in them. They never are as good as the best story. I remember Pan's Lab, where they created a book called The Book of Crossroads. I thought it could be great that if we had a book that reads you and it writes what you're most afraid of, then the theme became stories we can tell each other. Well, the book that reads you, I understood because that's in the movie, because as a book, it's reading our characters as going along. That part I understand though, but I just didn't get why I didn't understand the stories that we can tell each other. The theme became the stories we can tell each other. I didn't understand that part though. But it would have been nice to see it. It would have been nice to see this come as an anthology movie, but as overall though, I did like the movie as it came to be. I'm trying to say I did like the film as it came to be. The film was a success overall at the box office. It made over 100 million, I believe, yeah, worldwide, and it did get praise from critics, as like a 77% Rotten Tomatoes. And this film I thought I liked better than Halloween 2018 because this film had like in Halloween 2018, besides Jamie Lee Curtis's character, the other main characters I did not care about. I did not care about the daughter, the granddaughter, or the other teen characters. I like Will Patton though, but died in such a stupid way from the new doctor, the new Loomis, who all of a sudden just out of nowhere turns insane, kills him, and then puts Michael in the backseat with the granddaughter, also wearing the mask. So now that guy's all of a sudden just out of nowhere batshit insane. But I didn't care about the other characters. I didn't even care about the freaking also the daughter's husband. And I care about him. The two dumb cops were talking about their dinners. Stupid. So here are the characters I liked better. I liked the kids that are in this movie. I thought they were good characters. Especially the lead girl played by Zoe Colletti. I liked her. The guy Michael Garza plays Ramon. I thought those two did a good job. Gabriel Rush as Augie, Austin Zajur as Chuck, Natalie Ganzhorn as Ruth, and then Austin Abrams as Tommy. I liked the characters. And another actor I noticed that's in this film, Dean Norris, who plays Zoe Colletti's father. Dean Norris, he's been in a lot of movies and mostly in supporting roles. You know, of course, known starring in the show of Breaking Bad, and Dean Norris, he was also in Tremors, the series as well. I also remember him from that. He had a little role in Starship Troopers. I remember he was in the remake of Death Wish, Eli Roth's Death Wish with Bruce Willis. But Dean Norris, he's not much in the movie though, but I like Dean Norris. And it's directed by Andre Ovredal, who directed a film called Troll Hunter, and Guillermo del Toro, director Guillermo del Toro. He's producing this movie, and he helped do the story as well. And they both did a good job in the hand of the work, especially also with the write. Also, some stuff for the write, a little bit nitpicks though, but overall was decent. And especially the cinematography, how the style, vision of filming the style of the movie as well. Also giving credit to the person editing it or style, cinematography, and the directing and the producing. I thought it was a very well filmed movie, especially in the making this style, the visual style, how the look of the atmosphere of the film, giving that dark tone to it. On a visual level, atmosphere level, I thought it was really good looking. And the effects on some of the creatures, a lot of stuff for the most part was practical. So that's a positive. You know, it shows you can still. It goes to show you can still do practical stuff especially in horror films. Still, well, here's an example in 2019. You can still do practical stuff, and so especially on the creatures was really well done, for the most part. The score by Marco Beltrami, which I mentioned this guy before, which he did the score for Live Free or Die Hard, Resident Evil. He's done scores on a lot of other films, Marco Beltrami. And also another one who did the score with him is Anna Drubrick. Drubrick, mispronounced the last name. The score was it was there, I would say. It was just there, but for the most part, I barely remember the score, but it was there. And the pace of the film was only about 108 minutes without end credits. At least about 101-2 minutes. But it was the pacing was decent. And the books, like I said, I enjoyed the books growing up. Me and my brother remember the books very well. But of course, to me, I prefer reading Goosebumps more because I love Goosebumps. And of course, that has always been the book series I always loved reading because growing up, that was the book series that got me into reading in the first place. So yeah, that's why I love Goosebumps. It made me love to read. That's why I read the scary stories to tell in dark later words with my brother. But the creatures are incorporated from the books into this. I thought was good looking as well. And the story takes place in 1968. How it looks like 1968 was how the way it looked back in 1968 was well made. And during the time of Nixon's election, and of course the time of the Vietnam War, where you get soldiers drafting, and of course our male lead, Ramon, played by Michael Garza, he was basically, he was the one who was like, draft dodging. He was like avoiding being drafted in, and so get a little bit of that. And you have our characters like including him, Stella, Augie, and Chuck. They're gonna pull a prank on the bully, Tommy. Lighting bags of shit throw it in their car, and they run away from the guy, and they they go to a drive-in where they get into with Ramon's car, and they're actually watching. The drive-in is actually playing George A. Romero's Night of the Living Dead. So that was like a cool nod there. Of course, like I said before, I respect the original Night of the Living Dead. And then later words, they eventually go to this they go to this this old mansion. What's the mansion called? Well, this is a local haunted house. Belonging to this family called the Bellows family, and one thing leads to another. Stella, Zoe Colletti, she finds the book that was belonged to Sarah Bellows, and it's her story. The stories the scary story that tells from the dark, basically. It's the scary stories. And she reads, she, of course, stuff happens when she reads the book and opens the book, and then the stuff starts writing itself. It's basically writing, essentially, is writing the characters in the book. Like, first, it starts with the bully Tommy. His name is coming up in the book, and it's writing what's going to happen to him. And, like, he's in his family's field, and the scarecrow, hence the scarecrow right here. And which is the title Harold the Scarecrow. And for the effects, like I said, well, other than the opening in the chest area, which is CG though, but for the costume, for the prosthetics or the makeup effects, was really well done, practical suit and all that. Except for the CGI hole in the torso area, the stomach, whatever. But yeah, it was a good practical effect, and it was really, honestly, it was a very creepy and messed up way for Tommy to get killed, basically. I mean, the guy, the scarecrow stabs him with the pitchfork, and after that, the creepiest part here is the guy starts turning into a scarecrow, where it was like a very. It was a creepy scene, let alone messed up as well, where he starts turning into a scarecrow, like all the straws coming out of him, out of his mouth, ears, and out of the chest, and no matter how many times he tries pulling it out, it's turning him into a scarecrow. And the aftermath of shows, and it was a really good, well done. Well, the transforming scene is CG, but still, but the aftermath, like I said, the scarecrow suit was, besides the CG opening though, but it was still a good looking practical effect suit, and the aftermath of Tommy looked pretty good as well, practically. And then one thing, although one nitpick I would say is that I didn't really care about the whole mystery of Sarah Bellows. They started digging in about the whole mystery about what happened to her, and honestly, I didn't really care about that. I didn't care about the whole mystery at all. I was waiting for what's the next victim going to be, and what's the next creature going to come out to be, right? I didn't really care about the whole mystery of Sarah Bellows, because it was like a typical generic thing, where, the main evil, there was always some backstory they have to do research on, and what happened. I mean, I didn't really care about the whole mystery about Sarah Bellows. I didn't really care about that. So that's an issue I have. But I just didn't care about the whole mystery of the main villain, you say. And then the next one that was going after is Chuck, where good shows another most from the book because you have the Scarecrow, and then from the book you have the big toe, the what was it, the next girl's name, the big old big toe corpse, missing the big toe, and the whole suit of the big toe corpse, really well done. Like I say, you still do good practical suits and all that stuff, and it looks very well, really well made. And it goes on to Chuck, and one thing is another, just drags him underneath the bed, just it makes him disappear. And then following up is Augie's sister, Ruth, which leads to another story called the big spot, or the red spot. I think it was called the red spot, and which is another good well done effect where it's like this really huge blister or pimple right on the side of her face, and it was a really good well done effect until when the CGI spider starts coming out of her. But the whole prosthetic look of the whole big pimple was a really well done made effect right there. Which, and also with spiders coming out, which reminds me, which I mentioned I mentioned the film when I reviewed Pacific Heights, The Believers, directed by John Schlesinger, who directed Pacific Heights, and he directed that film called The Believers. Yeah, they did, yeah. Which reminds me of that scene also with the whole big blister with the spider coming out, though. But that was done much more better than Insane here, because it's straight out CGI spiders that comes out of this character here, but not more in the movie of The Believers. That held that part much better with the spider parts better than I see it in this. I will say that though. And but the prosthetic look of the whole big blister was a well done effect. Give it a real ew. You know what it's like you and I want to get that on your face. Yeah, that was a kind of a little gross thing. You don't want to get that on your face. But she didn't die though. After that she got put into a mental institution. And then they go to the mental institution, and then one leads to another where the next one gets written in the book. Regarding about the pale lady. It's Augie's turn, and I really enjoyed this scene. I thought it gave a good atmospheric look to it, where he's running in the hallways, and all of a sudden the lights turn all red, and I thought it was a really good atmospheric, creepy visual look to it when he's running the hallways all red, and then all of a sudden it starts from afar. There's the pale lady, which originally they did make a full practical suit of the pale lady, which does really well done, but considering the person was getting too hot in the suit, decided to go CG on it, though. Of course, I had to remind me of, you do something that's practical, then you replace it with CG. It just reminds me of the 2011 Thing prequel, where they did CG, they did practical things, but then they were just glossed it over with CG. Yeah, so for this they had to go there. I mean, behind the scenes of making the whole bodysuit of the pale lady was well made. But I understand the part where when you're wearing that whole big suit, you get too hot in it. I do understand that though. But you clearly see a difference when it's CG, it's compared to a real full bodysuit. But I understand they did that though. But still, they had to do the same thing with well. The Thing 2011 was a piece of shit anyway, but this is a hell lot better than the 2011 Thing prequel. I'm saying, I'm comparing, like, they did practical and they also with bad CG. Well, the CGI in that film was in the Thing in the Thing in 2011. The CGI was bad in that, but here there was a lot more practical things, and The pale lady, yeah, the whole suit, but made with CGI. The design of the pale lady, like it was in the book, it still looks exactly the same. I'll give it that too. They did get the exact design of the pale lady. Yeah, it's CG'd, but like I said, I do get credit. They did go make the practical bodysuit first. So I also give credit to that. But the whole creepiness, this definitely, like I said, go back to the scene in the red hallways with the pale lady. It was definitely a very creepy moment where first the pale lady see the pale lady from afar away down the hall, and then every time when Augie he starts running down the hallways, every turn, every corner he makes, the pale lady is getting closer and closer and closer. Every no matter which way where he turns, it's getting closer and closer to him until the point where it's very close to him. Every which way he looks is right there in front of him, and all of a sudden just hugs him and just absorbs him into his body. But I did like the whole aspect. Every time it starts from afar, and every turn he takes, the pale lady's getting closer. And then another turn closer, and then closer and closer until all of a sudden he looks around. There's no way to escape. So that to me. I think that was like the creepiest part of the movie there. Well, like I said, I wasn't scared by the movie. I'm not scared by horror movies anymore, but I can still see see on a visual level its creepiness. I still can see that, give it that still, but I wasn't scared by the movie. But I can see the creepiness of it on a visual level. And to me, that was the best scene of the movie, the whole red hallway scene with the pale lady. So yeah, I do give credit on a visual level thanks to with Guillermo del Toro, even the director, Audrey Ovredal, and even to the guys, the editors or the cinematography, whatever. Give credit to those for making this visual look to it. So, and even to the part in the writing as well. And so you can see with Chuck and Augie, they did not fully die, because by the end of the movie, they're Stella and her father are driving because they want to find a way to get their friends back. So you can say they're not dead, those two. Trying to leave room, hinting at a sequel. So you can say that they're not dead. Because especially this film is not really a gore fest at all. I guess they decided to make it its PG-13 rating because this is more of a dark kids, based on a dark kids book though, for kids to read. So I guess they want the younger audience to who, well, especially the people who read the book, but including much younger audience to watch. And yeah, it wasn't really a gore fest. This was not a bloody movie at all. So I guess that they play it safe with that because it's based on a kids book it's a scary story book for kids that was not all blood and gore and all that. It just wanted to give that the creepy atmospheric from the book onto the screen. So it was not a gore bloody movie at all. They would not go for. So okay, I can see that way if they want to do the PG-13 rating. Like I said, for the most part, the effects, especially the practical stuff, was really well done. I do give credit to. But like I said, with some of the things. And then the next thing, the next one who was going to be reading the book was Ramon, who got put in jail for, I forget what was one thing that supposedly thought they did, and he was in the prison cell, and to get this next monster called the Jangly Man, which I don't recall that character being in the book, the Jangly Man. No, it's a monster that is arms, head, and its limbs, wherever it can just fall apart and put himself back up together, like all crooked, hence like a jangly man. That's another thing. They also did practical as well, but then they CG'd it. Which you can see, I can tell it's CG, just how the way that visually it looks. It goes to the police station, kills this cop, just simple neck break. But Ramon manages to escape, and while Stella goes back to the haunted house to get found about to prove that the innocent of Sarah Bellows, that the whole backstory that either she was framed or for something was for her family. They said her family tortured her, electric shock, and she wanted yes, she wants to experience that Stella wants to prove that her life was and the truth of her innocence. I guess that she was innocent. I guess. And while Ramon will still be attacked by the Jangly Man, but he does confront her, and she will write the story, give her a proper ending, and Cerebella just vanishes. So, but and also another thing is the whole thing is written in blood as well, because all the writing in the book is written in blood. So I guess that Stella wanted to start writing the thing in blood, and writing her story, and so she disappears. The Jangling Man disappears, and then Ramon he says goodbye to Stella before he leaves off. Because they said he was draft dodging basically. But so he goes back to to go into the war. And by the time Richard Nixon he's elected, and then ends with Stella driving with her father, Dean Norris, to and even Ruth, who's also out of the institution, she's with him as well. Who's fine, and they're driving, they're gonna find a way to get Chuck and Augie back. So you get the hinting of a sequel. So that's what I was saying. That it's supposed that Chuck and Augie, they're not really dead. They're just trapped somewhere, so they find a way to save them. So, yeah. So scary stories to tell in the dark. Yeah, even though it did not become an anthology movie like it was supposed to, but overall, I did like scary stories to tell in the dark. Like I said, okay, the directing by Andre Ovredal I thought was well done, especially with the help of Guillermo del Toro. On a visual level, it was well made on a visual level, given that dark atmospheric look to it, like how it was supposed to in the book, and so it goes with some of the bits of the writing. Although I honestly did not care. That's a little part of the writing I did not care about. I just did not care about the whole mystery or backstory of Cerebello's. I did not really care about her backstory or mystery of it. I didn't. I just care about the characters I enjoyed. I like, especially with her lead played by Stella, played by Zoe Colletti. I thought she did a good job. Michael Garza plays Ramon. I thought he did a good job. The other two characters who played Chuck and Augie, I thought they did a good job too. Even Ruth and Tommy as well. Especially the messed up death of Tommy, where he just becomes a scarecrow and just really messed up way. Just even though it's CG bit though, but the whole concept of the whole death I thought was creepy, and especially really messed up as well. He just like all straws popping out of him. He's now becoming a scarecrow. That was messed up in a fucked up way, basically. And these are the effects I thought was really well done for the most part, practical, especially with the scarecrow. Like I said, the CG part with the see-through the stomach, but the suit I thought was well done, practical effect. Same with the big toe creature, and with the whole the red spot, the giant pimple on the cheek, that was a well done effect too, but except for the CGI spiders. And then with the Pale Lady, like I said, yeah, it was nice that they took the effort to make a full body suit of the Pale Lady before CG'd it. The same thing with the Jangly Man before CGing it though. So at least they took an effort to make time to make some full practical stuff work with a practical full body suit with that and the Jangly Man, because behind the scenes they made the full body suit of the Jangly Man, even with the head upside down. At least they made some effort into it though before they had to CG it though. Sadly, it just reminded me of the 2011 Thing prequel, which I hate and despise. But like I said, this is hell of a lot better than the Thing prequel. Hell of a lot better. For the most part, better effects, better characters. The score was, like I said, was there. It was an alright score. For the most part, I just forgotten about it, so it was almost part forgettable. and but the but overall, yeah, I thought it was a likable movie. I overall liked it, despite it was not an anthology film, but still. Let's say you got good characters, some most part good practical effects, directing in a like I said visual atmospheric look. The set I liked it took place back in 1968 yeah 1968. I like the setting of that. Even Dean Norris, I even though Dean Norris didn't do much in the movie, yeah, he was from barely in it. I remember, but I like Dean Norris but he really said he was not much in the movie. Um, and it was a good movie. Like 2019 was a good year for horror films because, like I said, this film I liked. The sequel to Happy Death Day 2. Crawl I really did enjoy. I loved Crawl. Even the Child's Play remake I liked. Ready or Not I liked as well. What other horror films came out in 2019? But whatever. Well, I think there's just more. But 2019 was a good year for horror films, surprisingly. And this was another one of them. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. So yeah, I enjoy the movie. Like I said, visually, characters, effects, and some of the filming style of it. Like I said, Andre Ovredal and Guillermo del Toro, they did a good job. I'll be interested if a sequel came out because I think they already did. There are already talks of a sequel. I think Andre Overdale's coming back. They want him to come back to direct. So we'll see on that. But anyway, yeah. So that's my thoughts on Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. It's a fun way to fitting name to end on Halloween. So yeah. So I say Happy Halloween to everybody. And thanks for watching, and stay tuned on the next video for more other videos and reviews to come, and we'll see you later. Bye. And once again, Happy Halloween.